Sup, dude? I see you.
Ooh, ooh, oh.
I have a plug-in microphone that's better for sound if you want me to get it.
Yeah, get that. That'd be good.
Okay. You can look at this guitar while you wait.
Wow. Wow, Formica. You're quite audio, huh?
Check. Check. 1, 2.
Yeah, I don't hear a difference. It doesn't matter.
It says your default microphone. Let's see. USB PNP audio device. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you fine.
You hear me? You hear me now?
You're great, but your $9,000 microphone doesn't make a difference.
I haven't looked at myself today.
Who does your hair?
I like to demonstrate mic skill, mic technique. I just went on. I just joined TikTok.
Ooh.
I have 2 videos on TikTok right now that my 13-year-old friend, she's directed them for me.
What's the mystique of TikTok? Isn't it just like a video?
I don't know. I wouldn't even be able to find it on my own, but
yeah. Well,
she promised me. She's really into TikTok and also the band BTS. So she's been directing videos, and I'm just like,
you got to choreograph your life, and you listen. That's a mean choreographing those guys do.
She shows me all the dances. I know a few of them. I know a few moves that'll let the kids know that I'm like up to date. Grandpa's got a brand new bag.
They don't think you're up to date, man. They think you're an old fool. We're just gonna talk about stuff. Can you hear anything? Do you have earphones? Do you have earphones, dude?
Yeah, let me get those.
Yeah.
They're charged up.
All right.
I'll let you look at this dog.
That's a fun dog.
I have a singing dog.
That was the introduction to the.
Oh, I feel like I'm on TV now. The way I can hear you.
Jimbo show. How you doing, man? How's it? How is it? Is it hot out there? Is it...
My day. I got a lot of shit done today.
Yeah.
I try to fill my days with getting shit done so that when I go to sleep at night, I can go to sleep. I don't lay there thinking like I didn't do anything today.
I know.
Then I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. But if I'm all like, I did all that shit.
What are these house chores or art chores?
Huh?
House chores or art?
I'm just like painting, cooking, sweeping. Today I bought lumber.
Ooh.
I'm making an addition of. I went to my dentist, and the dentist told me how much it was going to cost to fix the rest of my face, which aches. I want to start a band called Artist Teeth. Just have a bunch of artists who, like, if they're playing music, they don't notice that their tooth is fucked up.
Okay, listen, let's talk art. Man, you've really you've gone off the deep end with the art thing, huh? I wanted to show you books, but I've been traveling so much. I've lost all my books and shit. So I don't have anything. But
you should hear the excuses I have about people that don't have my books no more.
And
that's just also, traveling is a great one.
but also,
yes.
Also, you seem like you kind of moved away from that.
Yeah, I stopped. Publishing died. You know it. It's like being in a band and then you have to be against SoundCloud or whatever. It's
man, look here. New book.
I mean, you can make them, but I can't make a living off of them
Oh,
because
but you never could. You probably could.
the last book, I have a book that I haven't made called, it's called This Story Stinks. And it's about an island that starts from a volcano, like a new island. And all the world's skunks find out about it. They're like, there's a new island. And so they all decide that, like, they're not appreciated here in society. If you run over a skunk, people just say, ooh, but they don't care.
You want another glass, or are you okay?
Yeah, here we go. Put it in that beer there.
I got that.
Pour it in. There you go.
Okay, there you go. All right. Cheers.
Anyway, but I was offered less money as an advance than the very first book I did in like 1992.
Like $3,000.
I was like, it was less. It was like 7,000, and I was just like, fuck, I could publish it for like 2,000. Like, what's the big deal? You know, it's like. I took a photo today of a tattered American flag and thought that looks about right. It's like,
listen, dude, I've been taking those pictures for about 20 years. Why?
Yeah.
How come you can't hear me? I don't get that.
I heard you. You said you've been taking those pictures for 20 years.
Yeah, I have like a whole folder full of people, like the pathetic people.
I used to avoid photographing the American flag.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like it was too easy to be Robert Frank, you know?
You came on the scene back in the mid 80s, right? You were like,
Yeah.
It was you. I mean, John Hersey was the first guy to really.
Oh, I was ripping off John Hersey. I could not fucking help myself. John Hersey is so good that I would see his thing in the Sunday paper every week, see what he did, and I wanted to try on the jacket because it was just so nice.
But I remember meeting you, and because I knew John Hersey's work, but you were like, to me, you were like one of the first people who actually used Illustrator in a really creative way. You know, like you really knew how to do it. And
I just did what it did. My early secret was, I would never use, like if I wanted to draw a square, I would never use the square tool. Like I always tried to make it unperfect. I'd draw it to make it not computer. But scan it, use the drawing as like the template to lay out all the vector stuff. And then I'd throw the drawing away and it would just be the vector art.
I'm sorry.
That was my method then.
But I need to nail this down. So, because I remember seeing you taking you scan a sketch and then you convert it into vector, and that would be the thing.
That was something that was possible to do, but I never did do it. I never made my sketch the vector. I always made it as an underlying template to draw on top of.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway,
because AutoTrace sucked. It like the way it interpreted lines was gross. Like early Adobe AutoTrace looked weird. Like it always had all these digital hairs hanging off of it.
All right, so it's misremembered. But anyway, you
said your memory is a black hole. In typing yesterday.
Yeah, yours too, man.
Me for having smoked weed since I quit when I was 12. I went clean for a couple of years, but then what I'm saying is like I've had a lot of weed, and but I have like really good memory. Like I have it's all there. Like I have whatever the thing cliche about smoking weed and memory loss, or what is it? Memory loss? Anyway, memory.
And it's certainly
I don't stroll down memory lane a lot though. Do you do that? Right. I do involuntarily. I'll remember like the kids being little and stuff like that, but I don't think about my life as like I live with a 13-year-old and she just turned 13, and it made me remember that I don't know anything about being 13. I don't remember being, So,
But I think,
is
but the age of 13 is when things start kicking in, right? I mean, that's when you start.
I think it's when the you're in a tunnel and the support timbers start cracking, like you're 13 and you see the dirt coming down and it's like, oh shit.
No,
So,
yeah.
on your way to adulthood.
But I also think that's when you start thinking about stuff. So listen, you grew up in Martinez, right?
Born in Oakland, grew up in Martinez,
Yeah.
and
I don't. This
in
is
San Francisco, New York City, San Francisco, and Oakland.
I mean, I guess I guess my memory's not so bad because I remember stuff like that. I remember that you said you grew up in Martinez, and then I remember,
Yeah,
and I might be
over the hills.
I might be misremembering that the Martinez is where the guy who kidnapped that girl and kept her in a house for 20 years. Isn't that where he was?
I don't think so. No, you're thinking of Antioch.
Isn't that Martinez? Is that the same thing?
Antioch is about 15 miles northeast of Martinez.
Yeah,
we loved Antioch because Antioch was a shittier town than Martinez when I lived there. Like, everything would be terrible. The refinery would catch on fire. A meth head would come out of a tree. And you just still would think like, well, at least we're not Antioch.
What I love about America is like, especially the Bay Area, is how like places like Antioch, for instance, it's sort of like this dry, tumbleweed, fucked up.
It's so shitty that Dow Chemical is right on the river there, because nobody cares. It's like, do what you want, Dow.
What I find really interesting is how people like that's now a destination to buy a house. That's like a place that you can like.
No, that's where you get suckered into bad credit and some cardboard house like that used to be a cow's pasture. Like you just, you got good financing.
When I kind of came in the illustration scene, you arrived and Lane Smith arrived and all these people from California arrived, right? And you guys all had you had a sort of a similar bend on culture. And I realized
I think we were all like into punk rock bands, and I moved to New York so that I could charge more money for the same work I was doing.
Well, were you working a lot before you came?
Yeah, for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'd go out to New York with a portfolio, and like go around and get jobs. And then I thought, if I lived here, I just charge double what I can charge right now, because it would say New York under my name.
Yeah,
and it worked out. It totally was true.
But also, I remember. So I think Lane came before you. But you guys, what you have, which is uniquely American, is that you grew up on like Warner Brothers and Disney. Like you guys grew up on this stuff, right? Which I don't. Yeah. I don't have that. I have no love of Warner Brothers. I mean, I watch it, I can appreciate it, but I had no thing about it.
I've never been to Disneyland in my whole life.
Me neither. Oh, good. Yeah.
And I'm never going in. You could not drag me into that place.
Is that right?
Because I wouldn't want to break. I'm lucky that I didn't get indoctrinated as a California child. And so I don't ever want to know. I don't even look at pictures. I'm not curious what's in there. Disneyland.
That's surprising to me that you have never been. But anyway,
yeah, I vowed to be anti-Disney when I started. They're like such a like cultural, they dictate culture, like children's culture, like, and then they feed it back to you your whole damn life, and they're not handling things well. I don't think, the message is dictatorial. It doesn't enforce. Like it enforces stereotypes, and it's just like, why?
Right. Can we talk a little bit about the early kids books? Why did you get into that? Was that a money thing? It was like a way
because of Lane Smith. I was doing okay with the illustration, and I went to Lane Smith's house. I think it was the first time I went to his house, and he checked the mail. We were in the lobby, and he got his mail. And he opened up an envelope, and it was a check for $75,000. He showed it to me, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And he said, "It's royalties from True Story of the Three Little Pigs." And I was like,
Amazing. Yeah.
how do you get published? And he's like, well, you can come down. I'll introduce you to my editor. And I was like, let's go. And I went down and I sold it in the room to Regina Hayes. Regina, remember that's the other thing about publishing is like, there just used to be the most fucking like 1930s movie style Manhattan ladies of publishing power.
Yeah.
Like Regina Hayes was totally one. But there was just so many, like, I loved working with these like drinking at noon ladies, you know, who like had wool suits. But I was into the culture. We would go to Balthazar and just whip that credit card out.
Did you go to school? Did you go to art school?
No, I've never once had an art class. I've never sat in a class and done an art class. You too?
Yeah, no. No,
yeah.
I'm totally
Everyone I know that's successful
is that right?
Is a college dropout.
Is that
like
right?
I know people that are just geniuses and they make a living off of their genius and they did not get their degree. They didn't get a degree in like whatever the fuck they ended up doing. They were like so amped to get going that they sucked at school.
So you began doing this stuff like after high school? You started doing stuff?
Now I worked in engineering. I did drafting for yeah. And then
so how old were you when you did that?
At some point, I met a guy who was an illustrator in line. It was a friend of my friend's friend was this guy, Mark Ulrichsen. You'd know his illustration, right? Sure. So we were in San Francisco in line for some art film, you know. Like, when the juggler would show up, you'd be outside in the fog waiting for the movie to open up. San Francisco, BC. Do you know that song by the Silver Jews, San Francisco, BC?
No. I'll look it up.
Play it as part of my when you do the post-production.
Okay. You became in the 90s. You became kind of a big thing in illustration. You were like a very major force.
I'm part of 90s nostalgia, I think. Yeah. Like if you're having a 90s party, you put up some Otto computer art.
but then you now you're actually, you've kind of morphed into this other thing, which is I mean, I know that you're trying to that you're right now you're working on an animation like kids.
I am trying to sell a show in Hollywood, and I'm working with Boots Riley. You know Boots Riley?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm working with Elijah Wood. You know the actor.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm working with Tessa Thompson, the actress.
Oh, yeah!
So they're all voices.
I can talk. Vamos up. I'm talking. My name is Curtis.
Like if I'm at a bar and I meet somebody cool and they're an artist, they show me on their phone their art, and I'm like, that's good art. But then I always ask them, so just tell the truth. You do art so that you don't go crazy, right? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely. Like I've never got anything, like if I like somebody's art, the core is doing the art so you don't have to go crazy because you're sensitive.
So the move away from publishing, is that something that you miss?
I feel like nobody, I'm online and I don't get nobody is like, hey, I'm in publishing. You want to do, like there's just nothing going. Maybe it's all young people and they think I died, and that's that. Yeah. But the other thing is I decided to switch over to do a show, and I have the whole show, just need a buyer and then I can get going. But and it'll be really good. Like it'll be once it hits the air, it'll be. I keep telling everyone that I work with or trying to work with is I don't care if I get any money at all, but like the show has to have like a healing power, like just be, because people are like stuck in their house, and like you could, the narrative, you know, whatever opportunity to like be responsible to how people just have to like not get the plague and watch Netflix or going to be some other streaming service. Netflix has passed, so I'm boycotting them.
The thing about the Bay Area is that it's such a magnet for homeless people, right?
That's because the weather is beautiful, you know, and even the food they throw out here is gourmet food. I mean, basically, it was like 2008 kicked every black person out of their house that they lived in for 100 years, and they stayed in Oakland and lived under, you know, tarps and in RVs, and tried to be cool by putting up teddy bears on a pole and sweeping every day and saying hello, good morning, you know, like just trying to be like, you're forced to live in like a place where people immediately discount you. And this is like a lot of these paintings are just about like, I'm fascinated by making a shelter against the odds, and you know, the language of it, like the language of, because I'm really into that. I've just been painting like homes. That's just been like I like to paint homes and mountains pretty much. And these have just been inspired by, every time I ride my bike, and I ride my bike past the park, and the park is full of tents made out of advertising tarps. There's all these amazing materials now.
Like this California thing, I know you're there, and you don't really get, like, you probably don't get what it is, you know, where you are right now.
Yeah, I get out once in a while. I see it with fresh eyes. I
know you do, but America.
But also, it's like, I mean, the homeless and basically, the Oakland of 5 years ago has collapsed. Like, somewhere between the ghost ship fire, which killed a lot of people's friends, and then just like real estate, like the .comming of all space, and so many people, like they made up, like they were visual artists, musicians, you know, and everyone supported everyone. Like if you didn't have any food, you go to the barbecue, you'll get fed. And but people just one by one were moving to my mom's in Indiana, or, you know, like people couldn't afford to live here anymore. So it's changed a lot. Like whatever the California-ness is, it's the participants are rotating out.
So like when I look at your painting, I see I see California as sort of like this. If you imagine America as like a funnel, California is like the sluice where things end up in the ocean, right? So it's like
that's the thing. It's a dead end for dreamers,
right? It's
like move west, young man,
right?
And you're finally up against it. You're up against the
The Golden Gate.
You're exactly right.
The Golden Gate, and you end up in the Pacific, the peaceful place, right? So I see this, when I look at your paintings, I see that kind of stuff. I see this kind of like, it's kind of the end of the filter, the last filter of American bullshit, you know.
I always like to think about if, I mean, for me, like I'm near the Bay, kind of, but like people that live near the ocean, like I have a lot of friends that grew up, you know, up along the coast and whatever. And I always talk about how growing up, half of your reality you really didn't have to think about. Like there was just a direction inland, you know, whatever. And you just like, you know, you could think about the ocean, check it out all you wanted, but you really didn't have to go there. And so it just it gave you half the load of understanding where the hell you were.
Jim, I'm gonna go now, but that was really great. You know,
We did it.
Yeah, we did it. I'm gonna edit this down.
Did we score?
I think I might just run it as a thing. I may just do it as a continuous thing.
I feel like you could have options on Windows. It could be you and I talking the whole time, or have a slideshow that flips over certain parts, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
There could be the raw version, and then there could be the radio cut.
the acoustic version.
Yeah, the one they pay us for.
Yeah. So
How's my lighting?
we will.
Here's where I paint. I'll show you right out my window. Here is where I paint on this bench.
Yeah. It's all spray. It's all spray paint.
Yeah, spray paint, tape, and my girlfriend has a screen printing business.
Right.
And so she has all these sheets of plastic that were for the burning a screen and having a t-shirt made. So I just get them and cut stencils out of them. Like this Jeff Koons right here.
Oh, man. Really? Yeah.
I've been forging the most iconic and expensive art that exists in our society and putting them in homeless camps.
Yeah, so
it's been fun.
So I want to show one of those.
Oh, I think you froze.
No, I'm here. I'm not freezing. I froze. I did freeze. I'm gone. That's it. We're gone. We're done.